Man, Kwame got a shock of his life when he faces Kasia's sisters. This ongoing feud continues and it ended in an explosive conclusion. And the L bomb gets dropped by one particular couple. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Romance Review TV with Lady T. Got a recap for you guys. Married at First Sight UK Season 7 Episode 23. We're going to unpack all of the drama in this episode. But before we do, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel to receive all updates. And please don't forget to like and share. Okay, so we actually left off with the second part of part 2 of the homestays. Actually, Whitney and Matt got a homestay visit, surprisingly, even though they kind of put their pairing together so far into the season. So they met up with Whitney's girlfriend, and yeah, she was actually shocked. She was like, what the heck happened? You were married to a whole nother guy, and then you bring this whole different guy to meet me at the homestay. Give me the deets. So pretty much she broke everything down. She, everybody and us knew that her and Duca was ruined from the start. But, she had to actually explain that their particular connection between her and Matt was like electric. And even though that whole thing ended with the other two partners leaving the experiment, they found whatever solace in each other. And she even broke the news to her girlfriend that she actually said that she loved Matt. Now that's kind of shocking because they've only been together for a week. But I haven't seen Whitney as happy as she has been since day one. Now, I know a lot of people have their concerns about this, and she kind of was concerned because she was like, who is this guy you bringing in here with all the tats, and is he going to be faithful to you, and he just needs to treat you well? But it seems like her friend was happy for her, so we'll see how these two continue. Then we got to swing over to this particular homestay, which left us with the cliffhanger from episode 22 between Kasia and Kwame. Now, Kasia, I honestly think I don't know if she's really into Kwame. They did good a few weeks ago, but after his homestay where he did not get to meet and come to his home and see family members and things like that, which again, as you probably heard in my other recaps, he did a whole live on that one. Go over to my TikTok and check that out. It's posted there. But he did get the grilling of his life from Kasia's sisters, and they went in. Are you attracted to her? Who is your type? He did say, petite women like Beyonce and Rihanna is his type, but does he think that Kasia is absolutely beautiful? He said, yeah. He said there's not a time that she doesn't walk past him that he mentions how beautiful she is. Then they asked him about the homestay. You knew what the process was, and why didn't she come to your house? And he said, I'm private like that. And I can tell some of this conversation got cut out. But even if it was cut out and Kwame broke that down to the sisters, the thing is, though, is that they still was not happy with how this relationship is going with these two. So she went around the table and took a tally, and they all say, nope, he is not that guy for you. And she was like, well, it give me something to think about. And at this point, she says she don't know herself now, even though they were in a good place up until homestay. So we'll have to find out what they're going to say on the commitment ceremony, which is in the next episode. Now we got to talk about the homestay between George and April. So George got to meet April's dad, and these two seem like at this point, again, I got to preface this with there's a lot going on right now with him being investigated for, certain charges or accusations. But at this time in the experiment, it looks like April's dad really asked him some great questions, wanted to find out where he stands in regards to his relationship, how he feels about April. He said he loves April. And, she said it back as well. So At this point, her father was like, yeah, it seems like he really fancies my daughter. It seems like he's going to be a good man for my daughter. And so that's all he could ask for. So now all of the couples and singles are back at their apartments. They're getting ready for their guys and girls night out. What was interesting is we got to see Whitney actually giving Matt a haircut and everything. I mean, these two, yeah. I mean, from where they came from with their previous couplings to where these two are now is just surprising. That's all I could say. With Thomas and Adrian, I think they're still struggling, especially after the conversation that they had with Thomas's mom. And his dad, they're both telling him maybe he should leave because there has not been any intimacy. And obviously that's something that's sticking with them, even though Adrian seems to be fine. Thomas, however, is struggling and trying to deal with what he's going to do moving forward. So we'll have to see at the commitment ceremony. Kasia and Kwame, she's still thinking about what her sisters had to say and her friend. And Kwame, on the other hand, is thinking that there's some unspoken conversations that need to be had that she's just not bringing up. He actually thought that the grilling that the sisters gave was actually what Kasia wanted to say. So he wants her to be open and be able to talk about these things, but I guess she's not comfortable. But she needs to be. At this point with George and April, they're doing great. From what we see. And then she also focused on the point where as they go meet up later, that she don't want to get involved in any drama with Thomas because it's been ongoing since the beginning of the season with these two, and including Whitney as part of this. And she said, you know what? I'm just want to go out, have a good time. I'm not going to engage with this whole thing. And then, of course, Thomas is like, he's always on guard. And then we had George wishing that he was there to protect her from this whole thing or try to help her deal with the situation. But of course, he's going to be over with the guys. So let's talk about what happened with the meetups. With the guys first, we saw Jordan talking about how, his homestays went pretty well, but he got the seal of approval from Shanita's mom. Kwame also brought up the whole situation with Kasia's sisters and how the grilling that they gave him is actually what Kasia probably wants to talk about. Then when it came to Jonathan, he said that he learned a lot of things and that how he had to think about some of the things that he said, but everything is going really well with him and Sophie, and especially after the conversation they had with Sophie's parents. Adrian talked about their homestays, how it went well, except the whole thing that's going on between him and Thomas, and of course Thomas's parents. Zoe mentioned to them that their homestay went well. Also, so much so that even Jenna confirmed that it seemed like they've been together for a long time. Now Matt mentioned the fact that they dropped the L bomb, and everybody was shocked by that. When it came to George said he and April got along pretty well, and the homestay with her father went well. Then it was the girls' turn, and this is where it gets messy. So Shanita, she started off and she talked about homestays where she met Jordan's family. Everything went well, and she talked about her mom grilling Jordan. Kasia talked about how she don't know where she stands right now with Kwame, especially after listening to her sisters. And then with Jenna, she mentioned the same thing that Zoe said. That it seemed like they've been together forever, but they have to figure out kids and residences. In regards to Sophie chimed in on her relationship, but she also kind of threw some comments over to Thomas, and it wasn't anything bad, but Thomas popped off. Don't come for me. Who are you to tell me about my relationship? And then it spread over to him saying, I don't like 90% of the people at this table. I mean, Sophie is looking like, what did I do to you? I mean, we had Kasia trying to calm him down. He was still escalating. I mean, and honestly, I think it has a lot to do with not the ladies at the table, but so much so of why he has to make a decision after what his mom said. And of course, he has ongoing issues with Whitney and April, but he got so pissed off, he just left. He walked out and said, you know, it's only 3 people that he likes, which was Shanita, Kasia, and who was the other girl? I forgot. Oh, Jenna. I mean, yeah, Jenna. So it was interesting, but after he left, everybody said that it calmed down since he, you know, had left the whole party. But April talked about how she dropped the L-bomb and that they played Never Have I Ever, and this is how they came out with the secrets. We also saw Whitney saying that she dropped the L-bomb, and Shanita was like, I don't believe her. 1 week? Okay. But then she went on to explain how 1 week in the process being with someone 24 hours a day is different than 1 week out in the real world. But, you know, for the most part, we got to see what these two groups, both the men and the ladies, have to say on the final commitment ceremony, which is tomorrow. So we got to stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's get the conversation started down in the comments section. What do you think about Kasia and Kwame's homestay and her sisters? What do you think about this ongoing feud and Thomas coming to this whole explosive conclusion? Let me know your thoughts. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye.